in terms of MVL, I don't know if there's a better mixer on the planet. I mean, this guy loves chaotic positions.
Right.
So we'll see how MVL handles himself. Meantime, we have a standard Ruy Lopez happening in the game with Magnus Carlsen and Levon Aronian. This is a kind of favorite position as they avoid the marshal, that is the white pieces, avoids the marshal and go into other waters with A4. Levon is known to play this like anybody else, just about the best in the world.
Exactly. And after A4, B4, it looks to me from the screen that we have on the board A4, A5. And wow, that is, it could be very easily transposed, but that's a little bit of a different twist on the normal variations that we see with D2, D4, D7, D6. This, you may recall, was played earlier in the tournament between Hikaru Nakamura, Peter Spidler. Definitely D2, D4 makes a lot of sense breaking in the center. But this cagey little move A4, A5 by the world champion Magnus Carlsen, he's trying to, first of all, he's trying to prevent black from ever playing A5 or even potentially using the A5 square. And this move, well, we'll have to check that, how that compares with the theoretical, how many times the move A4, A5 has been played. I'm sure it's not a novelty, but it definitely takes the game on a different path.
Moving on to the game with Anand, Yasser, we've got a couple, we've got lots of comments from the Twitter sphere that don't believe that Anand is going to get a position to play for a win. I mean, after watching the way Anand plays in this tournament, I'm not sure how they can believe that. But lots of people are saying, like, no way is Anand going to.
It sure looks like the players have transposed into positions I'm very familiar with. D7, D6 was Levon's choice. D3, Bishop E6, immediately offering to trade light squared bishops, a trade which Magnus accepted. Takes. We talk about the trades. Fantastic, foolish, or what was it? Forced. Fantastic or foolish. It wasn't forced. I don't know if it's that fantastic for white, but it's not foolish either. The pawns have been doubled, and we've seen in the 2013 Sinquefield Cup where these two players got this pawn structure. Knight D2, Rook B8, C3, Queen E8, and the players have quickly played through to their preparation. But now
and be well on his way. There'll be some adventures, to be sure, but he'll be well on his way to winning this game and potentially creating a chance at least for him to get into a playoffs.
Wow. Thank you, Maurice. Knight takes E5 is begging to be played. Obviously, this knight on D2, if you play knight takes E5 followed by knight on D2 to F3, essentially you're transferring this D2 knight to the E5 square, right? So how sweet it is, you bring up a little bit more cavalry to defend, and you're doing it all with tempo. And that's a very, very attractive option. Maurice was pointing out knight takes, queen H6, knight F3, knight B5, and Magnus might be thinking, okay, that's one nice idea. Can I nibble upon another way? When black gets the opportunity to play knight b5, it cuts out the white queen. And another move that players may find very attractive, I'm being one of them, of course, is queen d7, kapow, just dropping in black's camp the idea behind queen d7, just as in Maurice's variation, queen c6 at the end of that line he was giving, is basically hit as many weakies as possible. You're threatening to capture on d5, you're threatening to capture on c7, pardon me, that would hit the bishop. So Magnus, unfortunately for him, he's got this great capture of the pawn, knight takes e5 to be considered, but also, greedily trying to bring his queen into the game with queen d7. Magnus looks really good in this game, and I'm wondering exactly what it is that Levon missed, because this has been very accurate cold-blooded play by Magnus.
He's
That's
got
giving him
lots
a
of
big
options.
big advantage. Yeah.
Seems like Magnus has lots of options here. You can also consider trying to remove that rook on b2 with rook b1.
Right, and
so
move Maurice pointed out before.
Exactly.
Yeah. Looking really good here for the world champion.
But I really liked Wesley So's position too last time I checked.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a big strategic edge in that game. But
And
let's
Maurice
take a
has
look.
Queen e8 check looms as a huge threat, as does a7.
And Magnus Carlsen is going to leapfrog over Levon Aronian and have a chance to tie for first and actually win on tiebreak.
It all comes down
Maxime,
to MVL.
Yeah, if Maxime can't convert. Although it looks really good for him. But as I mentioned, Maxime also getting into really big time pressure potentially, as last time I checked, he had only about 25 minutes with Nepo using very little time.
Jan is a very, very quick. He moves very, very quickly and oftentimes puts his opponent under the stress of a ticking clock. And rook g1 has been played, and Levon recognizing that all of his attempts now to get at White's king simply don't exist.
And one move
king
too
h7
late, or I should say a couple of moves too late, that he noticed now that his king did not belong on that square.
Right.
And he ceded all that time pressure. He would have seen this if he had time on the clock. He would have realized he needed to move his king to h7
earlier.
But as he started looking at it now that he's here, he's like, oh, my king is unchecked. If he'd been given a couple of minutes, Levon is a fantastic, fantastic calculator. If you had given him a few more minutes and he said knight g2, rook, knight takes, rook f2, rook g1, hey, wait a minute, I can't play queen g3 because of check. My king is a problem.
Right.
Okay, maybe I need to move my king out the way. He would have seen it.
Right.
But time pressure makes fools of us all. And right now, Magnus needing to come up with a move in this position. A7 would not be his best choice.
Right.
By the way, don't push that.
The queen e8.
Yeah, just transposing to the earlier line.
Right, and he has reached for the queen, but he's dropped his queen, just protecting the g3 square as well as the h3 pawn. He's just simply played queen d3. I was actually thinking he could have played queen e8 anyway, challenging black to show compensation, but queen d3 was his choice. By the way, that gets him not only one move closer to time control, it also eyeballs an opportunity to put black's king in a discover check with e4, e5.
Tricky business. After queen e5, which he's found,
Right.
now there is one point. The knight is pinned,
Yes, because you've got queen h2 mate.
and also the rook can go to a2
Right, to
and
get behind
stop
the
that
pass
pawn from running down the board. And White actually has a few technical difficulties here.
Seriously? Yeah, he's a piece to the good. I
He
mean,
is a piece to the good, but exactly how do you play in this position? I mean, he does have to
Probably-
make two moves. Just two moves to get to his time control. So
Right.
he just
So-
needs to make two moves.
So
So,
let's start with rook f1,
right, rook a2.
rook a2, and let's just get out of this funky king, queen h2. I'll play king g1.
King g1 runs into the equalizing c4.
No way,
Oh
really?
my God.
c4.
C4
Oh,
deflecting your
Because of
queen so that
d3.
no, I got
no.
queen takes a2, right?
queen
Oh,
b2.
Queen b2,
oh no, it's
right.
queen b2.
Queen
You're getting
b2
on
and the geometrics.
Oh no.
In time pressure, stuff could happen.
Oh no.
Equalizing.
Stuff could happen.
Wait a second. How
Crazy.
does that equalize?
He's got
What
7
black
seconds.
moves
He's
there?
only got.
Hold
He's
it,
got to
five.
move. Magnus
my
has
God.
to move. Wow.
Whoa.
2 seconds left. 2 seconds
He wants
left
to get
on
out
the
of that
clock.
potential. I think he might have seen some kind of c4 at some point because he played queen e3. Like, I don't want to let that be a possibility.
My goodness. Holy
Now he's
cow.
abandoned his A pawn as rook to A2.
But then he'll play queen f4, and he'll just try to win the game with a piece.
It's a totally different game. He is winning still,
with queen f4. Yeah.
but
boy, did he get?
he
Did I
got
see
down to
that
2
right?
seconds.
2
Here's
seconds,
rook,
yeah.
rook A2 is on the board.
And what about Levon's time?
Levon got down to 4 seconds. So.
Oh my!
And I think
goodness.
it's one more move to make right now.
Yeah,
One
so
more
one more move for Magnus,
Okay,
one more
queen
move
Magnus
for
said,
F4.
Levon.
forget about that A pawn.
Oh my
I'm just going to
God.
go piece up
queen
position.
f4. Yeah, very good. Okay,
Oh, man.
that was hair raising. Whoa. Now, Magnus isn't 99. Yeah, he looks like he is 99% sure that he's made the time control there.
Levon now has to make a move.
99.9. He's not going to go to the bathroom. He's
I
not
was about to
sure.
say, you really want... Uh-oh. And
Levon does not want to trade queens, but...
has played queen c3, attacking the pawn on h3.
And we've made time control.
Woo!
That was way too
my God.
It's going into a big tank on move 41. So
Really?
he's been thinking for 15 minutes.
After the move queen c3.
That's right, and he's played knight to e3.
Okay.
Just as you were bringing the board up.
Oh, very nicely timed. Bravo. Thank you, Magnus. So knight e3 by Magnus, and he's eyeballing his own opportunities of going after Black's king with queen. Should Black take away this passed pawn off the board, rook takes a6, let's say. There's queen g5, and grabbing this pawn and keeping the Black king under check.
E5 is a threat, disconnecting your queen on c3 from defending the g7 pawn.
No, Jennifer, that might be a very nice idea. Thank you. You're absolutely right. E5 stopping the queen from being able to defend g7. So maybe I like it with queen g5 first, though. I do like it with queen g5 first. But then the big threat, e4, e5, and mate on g7 is going to cause
White needs to
Levon.
start coordinating now.
Of course.
That's the problem. I mean, this is going to be Levon is going to go down in this game, and the world champion has had a time after move 40 to realize that his friend Maxime is crushing. So it might not matter in terms of his chances to grab another cup, but of course it matters.
Of course it does.
The game matters to the world champion.
Absolutely.
And it certainly matters to Maxime, who will avoid a playoff, obviously, if Levon had won.
And what can Black do?
Right.
I think he expects resignation. That's why he's not getting up. Levon looks morose, despondent, disgusted maybe even that the tournament ended this way, and just has to deal with the reality of not having a chance to be in a playoffs and not winning, having that gargantuan task of having to defeat this guy with the black pieces in the last round.
It's surely disappointing. The only consolation is a draw wouldn't have done it any good.
That is true.
I mean,
that is true.
He had to defeat the world champion.
And by the way,
there it
there
is.
it is.
So
Wow.
Maxime Bachir-Legrave is officially our Sinquefield Cup champion, our 5th unique winner in the very storied history of this tournament. Just
And
such
it's
a young tournament.
I
But
know.
amazing.
It always brings us to the edge of our seats. And even in this game, guys, Magnus Carlsen was down to 4 seconds. For a
2
major-
seconds.
It was 2 seconds.